All right,
Oh
guys,
man,
let's get right into it. Welcome to Dom and Gon's first ever post-game presser here with Dom and Gon Sports Talk. I'm Dom. That's Gonz. Gonz, how you feeling on this first ever Monday night?
that's great, and I'm excited. We're going to be start doing these post game live streams, giving our instant reaction right after the games. Oh my gosh, what a crazy! That's probably the craziest meaningless game I've ever seen. Of course, I
You
don't
know
care about the
football's back.
results. I'm just hoping that nobody's hurt. Our Darius Washington went down super late in the game. Hopefully, he's okay. But yeah, the 24-game winning streak comes to an end. Not that it mattered. I never really cared. I just wish this team could perform in January and not August, when it actually matters. So yeah, all things come to an end eventually. Good job by Jake Fromm and the Commanders, to, I guess, win, but cool. But I care more about the young guys and how they played and what's going on both sides of the ball. So I think last time when we did a reaction video, we started with offense. So let's go ahead and start on the defensive side of the ball this evening. So sort of like, if we're going to go back to the first half, it had the same vibes as the Philadelphia game, where the second team defense going up against Sam Howell and the first string offense for the Commanders, mind you. So that was Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, Brian Robinson, all the starters were in. Antonio Gibson, too, got some carries and some catches. But you had that same sort of vibe that they were just kind of holding on for dear life, not bending. I mean, not breaking, but definitely bending a ton, as they had to kick a couple field goals at the beginning. And pass rush just nowhere to be found at all. Sam Howell just all day long, all day long, and I'm not panicking because again it's second teamers versus first stringers, but if that provides any omens for the future, it's not good ones. So what did you think, Dom, from your
Listen,
instant point?
I know you said you're not panicking, but I am, and here's why.
Uh oh.
Listen, man, I know this is only preseason. It's only second string, but like these aren't our starters. But it's still very alarming to me that we cannot bring the quarterback down to the ground. I mean, we've done it. We did it in this game. Don't get me wrong, but like, man, dude, we're still getting danced on. I still don't like that. I like even if second string or not, like we have to step that up. There's no excuse for that. Like we cannot have Fromm just having a day back there. Like I don't like that. I really don't. We have to step that up or not. We're going to get torched. And it's not even funny. Like we talk about it all the time. The defense has to complement each other.
Mm-hmm.
Secondary will handle the business in the upper field. In the backfield, we have to be able to bring pressure. And we brought pressure, but we were not bringing down the quarterback. Now, mind you, we did have some sacks in the game. Mostly, I believe, coverage sacks. But yeah,
All in the
I
first
know.
half,
Yeah,
I think.
so
Mm-hmm.
we gotta step that up, man. Because preseason or not, second string or not, like that, there's no excuse to not be able to get back there and bring the quarterback down, especially if you're there.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand the blocking's great, but if you're back there and you can't get a hand on the quarterback, like these aren't mobile guys. Like this is not Kyler Murray or Jalen out there. Like you see what I'm saying? These aren't mobile guys. So we have to be able to bring down the quarterback and not allow them to extend plays. Because like I said, I agree with you. It's only preseason, so it's not really too much to get worried about. But it is concerning that, through two games, we haven't really seen much from the pass rush.
Yeah.
It's a little bit concerning. I would like to see an improvement for preseason 3, going into week 1. That's my comment on that for sure.
Yeah, that's very fair. I don't blame you for feeling like that at all, honestly, because it's been pretty abysmal. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not good. It
And
really hasn't
David
been good.
Ajabo played at least one full drive in the first half. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was in the first quarter, I think. Nothing. Absolutely nothing from him.
That can't happen, man.
At least nothing. And please, anybody watching or watching this on YouTube, when it goes up there, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I didn't see any pressure or hurry or any splash by David Ajabo. And I understand, yes, it's just him out there with a bunch of other second strings. But as much as they're ranting and raving about this pass rush in practice, it's like these guys are not transitioning into the game. Now, to be fair, that's the first strings. So I'm hoping once week 1 starts that we see some sort of a improvement, like a drastic improvement, because people are saying, or Ravens insiders are saying that Owe and Ajabo are forces to be reckoned with, even in the Commanders' joint practices. So I don't know. I didn't see any of those footages. Those were all tweets and articles that we've been reading. Footage. Can't say that. So we just got to see. We just got to see. And yes, we did get a couple sacks. They were mainly on just breakdowns. One of them was I forget, number 48, Moon. Was it Moon? I think got a sack.
Yep.
A complete breakdown by the left tackle. I mean, I don't know what he was doing. It looked like a nano blitz from Madden. There was 5 offensive linemen and 4 Ravens pass rushers. The guy came in free. Nobody touched him. So I really don't even count that as a great play because it's just a complete breakdown. No, he didn't even need to avoid anybody. He just had a straight shot. But yeah, there's just no pressure at all. And then the Sam Howell was just sitting back there, picking us apart, throwing to the running backs. Commanders' running backs had a ton of yards receiving. I felt like I've got the stats up here right now. Let's see, receiving. A lot of them. Brian Robinson 2 for 18 or 4 for 17. Antonio Gibson 3 for 10. Like that's already 7 receptions to the running back. Even though they weren't huge chunk plays, it was definitely just annoying to let them check it down, get 4 yards a pop every single time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Rodriguez, the number 23, who played in the second half, even had a catch for 4. And let me not forget, and we're going to get this to the second half, number 32, Jarrett Patterson had a reception. So that totals at least 10, over 10 receptions to the running backs. So it's like they didn't get beat deep. It was just a lot of dink and dunks down the field. Just steady dink and dunks underneath, medium routes, slants. So very safe play calling by Mike McDonald, which is fine. So that's another thing we got to take into account. A lot of safe play calling happened in the first half. Obviously, we're going to get to the second half when it was a cover 0 fest. But staying into the first half, it was very safe. No extravagant blitzes or anything weird or weird coverages. So that's another thing we got to take into account as we move into the regular season. I'm sure Mike McDonald's going to let loose, try to confuse the defense, especially when we're playing somebody really young like C.J. Stroud week 1, or confuse the offense, excuse me. So that is something I think we need to take into account also before being too critical. But at the same time, I can't really disagree with what Dom's feeling right now about the pass rush. Pass coverage, cornerbacks. Yes, they had some issues wrapping guys up. Caillou, Kelly had some issues in the beginning. But if you don't have a pass rush, how can you expect these guys to cover? It's almost impossible. Sam Howell was scrambling a lot, throwing on the run. That big deep pass to Dotson to set up the 1st and goal right before halftime, before they went and punched it in for a go-ahead score. What can you do when you're a young 5th-round pick corner playing against Jahan Dotson and that top? He's a starter for the Commanders. This is their first team offense going against 3rd stringers and 2nd stringers for the Ravens. So what can you really do? I didn't really fault him for that because he will, and we're going to talk about it soon. He definitely made up for it later, in my opinion. But yeah, just if you don't have a pass rush, I don't care what kind of DBs you got back there. They're gonna struggle because any quarterback will pick you apart with no pass rush.
And that's what I'm saying. They have to complement each other. Like if there's no, like if pass rush doesn't get home, DBs are going to get cooked. That's just what happens at the end of the day. If there's no complementary football being played on the defense side of the ball, we're going to get torched and be like the last in the league in passing defense again. Like that can't happen. And I'm not faulting. Going back to what you said about the Mike McDonald probably playing soft. I can't argue with that either. But it's like it's playing soft, but then there's also like blown tackles. We saw a lot of blown tackles in this game. You spoke on Jared Patterson. He had one of those touchdowns on a blown tackle for the Commanders. Tackling has to be a main point of emphasis because I'm tired of seeing it. And I don't want to keep making those excuses because there's not going to be any when it comes to regular season. Like, we can't have that going against these top teams because our schedule, like we are supposed to be layups, but they won't be layups if we're letting people just get by us like that. Like that Jared Patterson touchdown, I was sitting here yelling at my TV like, dude, what are we doing? Bring him down. Like, what are we doing? We had him. Like, we had him in there. Like,
yeah.
Understand that. Like, I cannot fault Mike McDonald for calling the plays that he did, especially not putting players at risk. We don't want to do that because we need that depth. But at the same time, like, players have to understand getting these guys down, like getting those like tackle for losses or getting them down at the line of scrimmage. These things are important. And if we let people just like ease on by us in these open field tackles are probably the most difficult thing to do. I can't sit here and like act like I've been doing it because I haven't. But at the end of the day, like, dude, I mean, like Jared Patterson, he went by like three guys. There were three guys down there before he got to the end zone. Like, there's no way not three. There were three or four. Not one of them couldn't get him down before. I thought he stepped out. I think Troy Aikman thought he was out too on that play. So I'm sitting here like, oh, he's out, right? No, he wasn't. He stayed in bounds and he fought for those yards. So shout out to Jared Patterson for fighting for that. But man, I am nervous about tackling. And again, I know it's preseason, but we have to take into account that tackling needs to be a point of emphasis going into the regular season. If not, we will get destroyed. Like,
that was more of an issue in the second half, I thought, than the first. The first, there wasn't too many misses that were really bad. Because, there were some missed sacks on Jake Fromm. But we didn't really get some free shots on Howell, except for the ones that were sacks, actually. Yeah. Because there was just nobody near him. Trenton Simpson, made his debut tonight, had a lot of shaky plays in the fourth quarter. Oh, man. Yeah. Trenton Simpson was the culprit on the Jarrett Patterson touchdown reception out of the backfield. Oh, just insane. Who else? There was, can't remember. Hopefully it'll come back to me. But yeah, transitioning to run defense. Yikes. That was not good. The run defense took a step back from last week's improvement in the second half of the Eagles game to just being all around pretty poor in my opinion. I mean, these running backs were averaging Chris Rodriguez 6 yards a carry, Derek Gore 7 yards a carry, 3 carries for 23, Brian Robinson 5 for 21, only 4 yards, and Sam Howell had 3 carries for 17, breaking containment. That's a lot. That's a lot of yards on very few carries, you know? So I don't know. The run defense just did not seem sharp tonight at all. It felt like they had to do, you know, those times last year or a couple of years ago when we used to have Brandon Williams in the middle of a field or in the middle of our defense. And if he was out, it would be a catastrophic day for run defense. It felt like one of those times. I know you guys passionate Ravens fans who remember us from the 2014, 15, 16 era know how that felt without Brandon Williams. So it was that kind of vibe, just getting gashed. There weren't many stuffs behind the line of scrimmage at all in the run game. I think there was like one tackle. Trenton Simpson wrapped somebody up for about no gain. But we shouldn't have to all out blitz to stop the run. We need to, be able to stop it better. But again, I'm not going to overreact because, this is preseason. And of course, we're missing our top tackler, Roquan. He will be in there. week 1. Patrick Queen will be in there week 1. And our big interior linemen, Justin Madubuike, Michael Pierce, Travis Jones. Travis Jones did get some reps tonight, by the way. And so I'm not too worried about it, like I said. But as for depth, you also said that the pass rush needs to be better overall. And I will give you this point. Judging from how the Ravens cornerback room is standing right now, we do need that pass rush to carry because we are out with Marlowe. Rock Ya-Sin is still not back. Arthur Millette is hurt. I didn't realize he was not practicing either. The Steelers guy from the Steelers we signed. So we are banged up, and our Darius Washington went down with something at the end. So we are really, really thin at corner right now. We need these guys to get back very soon. That was a breaking news point this week when Marlon Humphrey ended up getting surgery for a lingering foot issue. I believe we got the news on either Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember. So that's gigantic. We've got our top 2 cornerbacks out. So that pass rush really does need to step up, like you said.
It matters. It matters.
And I'm hoping that they did. Last thing I'm going to say on defense before I let Dom take over for his opinions. On that last drive with or second to last drive, Caillou Kelly made a beautiful play on the 2-point conversion. After that horrendous Trenton Simpson missed tackle for Jarrett Patterson touchdown. That was a great tackle. Wrapped him up low, and you thought the Ravens were going to pull off another one by 1 or 2. But then they had to punt the ball back, and Washington went right up the field. Even though I wouldn't say they went right up the field. They kind of struggle bust their way down there. But cover 0 every single play. That looked like Wink Martindale. So, yeah, definitely not a question about how aggressive Mike McDonald was doing there. But the point I wanted to make was he kept calling it so many times. Those guys looked gassed. Like the blitzes were just like in slow motion.
Yeah, they were weak.
Oh my God. Like they sent like 7 people, 8 people, and like the guys looked like they were jogging because they must have been gassed from it. I don't know. Did you think so?
Yeah, they didn't really look like, especially like in clutch time when we were trying to get the stop after the penalty. It was just like I don't think they were all the way there as far as trying to get
I understand, like, if you're a single blitzer, you might not want to charge head-on bull rush because all they do is sidestep. But you've got 7 people bull rushing. You got to run fast. Don't let these deep routes get open or intermediate routes. But, yeah, that was just something I noticed. I was like, why are we calling cover 0 if these guys are just going to jog? Like, you might as well just sit back. I don't know. But
trying to save the streets.
Anyway,
that's all
shaky overall analysis for me, shaky defense. Very shaky on defense. They bent but didn't break against the first teamers. Second half was a little bit worse. More missed tackles and missed sacks on Fromm. Need to improve that in the final preseason game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It was definitely shaky defense to start. I mean, we had flashes, like you said, Moon had his sack. Taylor Hayes had a pick in the clutch.
The turnover.
To him. Yeah, so shout out to that. We also had a forced fumble. I believe it was forced by Ham, linebacker, who we just got picked up. So shout out to him for forcing that fumble. So, I mean, we've seen flashes of greatness. It's just, again, this is preseason. We won't overreact too much, but again, there are definitely room for improvement, especially in the tackling, in the backfield, getting to these passers. Like, I hate to be that guy because I don't want to be that guy who is like overthinking in the preseason because, we have to see what happens with our actual like first stringers out there. But man, I just don't want this to be what we see week 1 against a young CJ Stroud, who's going to be there for the picking, obviously, if we can, like you said, if we can confuse him throwing different defensive schemes at him, as the game progresses. But, like, I do not want to see CJ, just doing ballet dances all around the pocket while we're sitting there struggling to stop him. Like, I don't want to see that. not against the year one quarterback. And this is no detriment to CJ because obviously he's talented. He didn't get drafted top 10 for no reason. But at the end of the day, like, there has to be a point of emphasis. Like, there has to be a main focus on tackling because I did not like what I saw from the defense as far as tackling is concerned, especially in that second half. Like, we missed a lot of opportunities to get stops. And, and I don't even want to just, like, that penalty that I'm not going to lie, that penalty that kind of cost us the streak. I forgot who, number 39, I forget his name already, who had that pass interference play. It was a fourth down call, and
it was a good call though, Dom.
It was a good call.
It was a terrible penalty by him. He just tackled him. He was beat. Yeah,
he was beat, and it was a bad penalty on his part. It kind of cost us the game, if you want to kind of keep it real. But yeah, like you said, shaky defense. We just have to make sure our first stringers, pick up that slack and, make sure we're good with Marlowe out. Rocky Scene should be back soon. That's what Harbaugh says.
Hopefully.
Rocky Scene should be back soon. Hopefully Millette is back soon as well so we can start kind of getting healthy in the secondary. Marlowe should not be gone for a long period of time. Reports were saying that his injury isn't as severe as first thought. So, that is good signs to hear. It wasn't a lymphatic foot injury. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. So he should be okay, and he should be get healthy soon, so we can have him back because we're going to need him going through the rest of the season. So yeah, shaky defense. Let's hope that we pick it up preseason 3. Let's close our preseason with a win, hopefully.
And yeah, again, the win and loss doesn't matter. I just want these injured guys to stay healthy.
Have some confidence. There's some confidence going into week one. There's a little bit of confidence going into week one.
But it's all good. I really don't care because here's why. Real quick. We went 4-0 the last 3 years of the preseason, and we've lost all the playoff games. So it doesn't mean anything. So why not we be different? Right. Let's take an L in the preseason, and let's change the outcome in January. How about that? Just like we changed the outcome in August, let's change the outcome in January as well.
I don't mind taking some preseason L's if that means some January wins. So
yeah,
I'll take that any day of the week.
Oh yeah, for sure. So let's see. But yeah, it's just that I'm gonna need to see that monster Odafe Owe that people are ranting and raving about when we get week one. So him on one side. And we got Clowney too. That was another thing. We have Jadeveon Clowney on the roster and Ronald Darby. Those were 2 veteran additions we made recently to, help with the injuries. So we've got guys to rush the passer. Now let's rush it.
Please.
Let's live up to the hype.
So you can shut me up.
Live up to the hype that you got. Live up to the hype that you're generating in camp and practice, and show us why that you're being talked about. Let's see it. Yes. People are going crazy. And I know I keep repeating this over and over again. I apologize. But it's true, though. They are ranting and raving about Odafe Owe and David Ajabo in practice. Like, they are forces off the edge. These crazy primetime Von Millers, Aaron Donalds, just causing havoc. So let's see that. We need it so bad. We need it so
really, really bad. If you want to shut up Adam, who's been, destroying you guys about having the worst pass rush in the league. If you want to shut me up, come out here and have a great sack season. Owe, Ojabo, Clowney. I don't even care who gets there. Just get there. And when you get there, bring the quarterback down. Oh my! For the love of everything that is football, bring the quarterback down. Okay, that's all. That's all we ask.
Not even just the quarterback. Just bring the player down.
Bring them all down.
It's an issue everywhere.
Tear them all down,
But
please.
we'll be. I'm confident that getting Roquan on the field and Patrick Queen on the field, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, all those guys, it'll be better. It will be better.
I'm with you. I'm with the positivity. I think it'll be better as well.
But we'll let you know when it's time to panic. I don't think it's time to panic yet, but we do need to see a little bit of improvement in the next game. That's all. From the backups, from the depth players.
At least, I agree. We have to, again, they don't have to jump out the gym, but when you're there, make a play. Like
Yeah,
that,
correct.
you're there for a reason.
Yeah. All right, well, let's jump over to the offensive side of the ball. Second straight week where Josh Johnson is getting the start at quarterback, running with the second team. And, hey, they came out of the gate and looked fantastic. I mean, went right down the field, got a touchdown. That whole drive was pretty much just run by Justice Hill, who did a great job on that drive, and first-round pick Zay Flowers. That was really nice to see. Drive started off with a nice 10-yard run with Justice Hill, followed by a little hitch that Zay Flowers turned into a bigger gain and a first down. Followed by another run by Hill, and the drive ended with a play action to Zay Flowers, who made 2 or 3 defenders miss, got in for a touchdown, and his night was over. And I was fine with that because he did what he needed to do. Man, he looks very, very good with the football in his hand.
He looked electric.
He looks so much more exciting than some of these other Ravens rookie receivers in the past.
He looked electric out there.
Each time I watch him in a highlight, he's really making me think more that he's saying, Gonz, you're dumb for doubting me at the beginning. You should have just been more excited on draft night.
I tried to tell you.
But
I tried to tell
you. You can't blame me for that, though, because we've had garbage picks at wide receiver.
I know.
So,
I think you
but
were leaning
like I
more
said,
towards
though,
history,
I was never wanted to be wrong more than that. So I'm perfectly happy with being wrong about that. Great. Prove me wrong. Go win Rookie of the Year and maybe Super Bowl, Offensive Rookie of the Year or whatever. But that was just great. He looks like he just looks great with the ball in his hands. Now we just got to get – I'm hoping that he's got great connection with Lamar in the regular season. And it looks like they will based on the practice stuff that they've been working on. I'm so excited to see how this offense pans week 1. But that's another topic for another video. Moving on, the running backs. Other than Justice Hill, Melvin Gordon, decent carries
That's
a little bit.
Some good carries. I think he has some good carries. Yeah, I think he has some good carries.
Keaton Mitchell got some touches also and a couple returns. Unfortunately, he left the game in the third quarter due to an injury. If I had to speculate, it looks like an arm injury or a shoulder injury because he was grabbing that right arm as he was getting off the field. Oh, it sucks for him because I really, really, really like Keaton Mitchell. He was somebody I said to look out for tonight, and he made the most of his carries. He had a huge run, looked so explosive in that carry he got coming out of halftime on that draw play. Just took it to the right side, cut it up the sideline. Just, man, he can fly. He's got some wheel. Sure. I'm hoping he gets better soon and it's not serious because he's one of those undrafted guys that's looking for a chance to make the roster, and injury absolutely kills you out of that perspective. So when he went down, the Ravens mainly switched to, I can't remember his name.
Owen Wright.
Up now. Owen Wright. There it is, number 36. Nothing special from him. 9 carries for 10 yards. Keaton Mitchell had 1 carry for 31 yards. That run was 31 yards. That was amazing. Loved it. Melvin Gordon was solid. Backtracking to him, 8 carries for 34 yards with an average of 4.2 yards a carry. So, yeah, those running backs did pretty good. Owen Wright, probably Ravens were trying to burn the clock out, I guess. Didn't get too many open looks from the line. The Commanders were set on stopping the run. Anthony Brown comes in the second half and has some good carries as well. He had a 20-yard carry at the end of the game there, trying to run out the clock and save the streak.
Kind of wish he would have slid instead of going out of bounds. But
again, don't care about wins or losses. I'm evaluating more on performance. But, yeah, the running game was not super great, but it had some sparks. I think tonight was more of the passing game. What did you think about the running game, Dom, before we move on to that?
I think the running game was pretty good. I think it speaks to Todd Monken. A lot of people had fears that Monken was just going to straight up be like, you know what, F the run game. We're going to focus on passing. But I think here it kind of shows that he will want to run because like, obviously, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if the Ravens are known for one thing, it's running the football effectively, ground and pound offense. And I think, Monken wants to stay true to that. So it is nice to see some runs being thrown in there. I mean, we finished the game with 149 yards on the ground total. So, I mean, I feel as though, like, we had a decent run at it. Like you said, Brown had 4 for 37. Mitchell 1 for 31. Hill 2 for 25. Like, I feel like most of these guys, they made the best out of the carries that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And because we have explosive backs who can have those big plays, like, wait till Dobbins gets those carries and when Gus gets those carries, like, it's going to be crazy. So, honestly, I mean, judging off these running backs, it's good to see that we still have great depth. Like you said, I hope Keaton Mitchell is going to be okay because if there's a roster spot to be had, I want him to have it. I think these past couple of preseason games, he's shown that he can be dynamic. I'm kind of still feel bad for that touchdown that got called back in the Philly game. Wish he would have had that one. But other than that, like, I really hope he's okay and will get a roster spot. But other than that, yeah, I think the run game is okay for now. I mean, still room for improvement, just like everything else. But other than that, I think we were decent on the ground.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a complimentary scheme, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the passing game sort of was opening up those running lanes, though, I thought, because those draw plays don't work unless the defense is backing off.
Exactly.
So that was very encouraging to see. Ravens quarterbacks, very solid in my opinion.
I think they performed
very
well.
solid. Anthony Brown, let's start with Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson, whoa, that was way night and day compared to the Eagles game. Josh Johnson going at 10 for 12, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Very effective moving the football, only 2 incompletions. Looked very poised in the pocket, looking down the field, finding his man, taking shots down the field, too, to Charlie Kolar, who had 2 receptions for a team-high 61 yards. Whoa, what was that? That was crazy. These deep play actions down the middle of the field, you love to see it. You really do.
You do.
Ravens quarterbacks completed passes to 12 different receivers. 12 different people caught a pass. That's very good. Very
nice
good
to see.
So, because that's something we kept talking about. Oh, the Ravens, they could get crowded in a wide receiver room. But if they can show they can spread the ball around to these guys, utilize everybody on their team, that is very good. That bodes well for the future. Because, we'll have Odell, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, Laquan Treadwell, those type of guys. And then Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Charlie Kolar, too, who's showing to be a threat in the paint.
Yeah, he had a great game.
Early drop, he sort of got going. All right, maybe it wasn't a drop, but incompletion earlier that I thought he could have caught. He got going. And that was very exciting. Even Pat Ricard, there was a Pat Ricard sighting. We haven't seen him since the Greg Roman days. Caught a nice little 5-yard pass from Johnson
for a quick first
down. Yes. So that was cool. Josh Johnson,
man, he did. He looked very poised in the pocket. He was throwing lasers. Okay, let's just give Josh Johnson credit where credit is due. He was throwing some dots out there. That one pass he had for Tyler Wallace for the touchdown, like back shoulder, Tyler Wallace just in great positioning to catch that. It was perfect poise, like Josh Johnson looking great. And like we said, he had a touchdown pass in the previous game against Philly, but like seeing him that, like you said, it's complete night and day compared to what he was looking like against Philly, because he looked like he was slinging the rock out there. And it's great to see him have that confidence, throwing it deep. He had no fear out there. And that's what we want to see. I mean, we've been in these situations where, we haven't had Lamar. Huntley's been down. Like, it's good to know that we can have some sort of manager out there who can make those plays. And as far as the QB competition is concerned, I feel like he has a slight edge over Anthony Brown. And Brown, he didn't play terribly. I don't feel like remember I was talking earlier, like in the last game, I felt as though Brown needed to show me something in this game. And I think when he first came out, he had 2 first grade drives, both ending in touchdowns to that rookie tight end. I don't want to disrespect his name, so I'm probably not going to say it.
or
Yeah.
Travis.
Mullen,
Travis.
we're gonna Travis. We're gonna call him Travis.
Vokalek.
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 Yes,
Travis
Vokalek.
Vokalek.
So 2 touchdown passes to Vokalek, who had, who I hope also he looked like he's really coming along. Harbaugh said he wanted to see something out of him, and we are seeing something out of him. He caught that second touchdown pass. He caught over like 3 guys.
That was a nice
that pass was a little
pass by
crowded.
Brown, too.
Yeah, great pass by Brown. So
Mm-hmm.
Brown definitely showed me something as far as he shut me up as far as coming out there having 2 great drives. But if I had to give an edge in the quarterback competition, I'm giving a nod to Josh Johnson for the QB3 spot. Because he came out there, he had a great performance. He just had that one pick that I really don't think was his fault. Prochet, and we saw Kobe say, "Cut James Prochet."
Oh, we're gonna get there. Just hold your horses. Hold your horses. I'm about to.
Yeah.
I'm about to go to wide receivers. We're about to go to wide receivers.
Yeah, but other than that, man, I think Josh Johnson and Anthony Brown, they had great performances.
Yeah.
And we definitely give a nod to them. Like, shout out to them for the performances they had tonight, because they put up some points.
Yeah.
They definitely put up some points.
I also think that, and I really hope, I know it's, again, preseason, but I really think Mike Macdonald in the regular season, like if this was a regular season game, you cannot be that conservative. You cannot just start running.
Absolutely.
Or not Mike Macdonald. Sorry, Todd Monken. Todd
yeah.
Monken. My fault, guys. You cannot just run, especially when the passing game is working so well. You got to keep the pedal to the metal. You gotta do it. Especially when your running backs are out and you're using Owen Wright. You gotta pass it. You gotta pass it.
Yeah, I just think it was, just because it's preseason, you don't really want to risk anybody
that's what I'm
else.
assuming,
So
but
yeah,
it's
not really that deep.
Again, just in case, please don't do that in the regular season.
Agree though. I agree with
that's
if it's cooking, like we say, if it's broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
If it's broke, do not. I mean,
we saw that way too much last year when the Ravens take a lead and they just start running, punt, field goal, and the defense gets tired. We've seen this story before. The end of tonight's game was a Ravens game, or a 2022 Ravens game.
Yeah, we're having heart attacks in the preseason.
So we don't just be aggressive the whole game. Play to win. Don't play not to lose. Play to win. Now so we talked quarterbacks. Very nice. Wide receivers. So we started. Zay Flowers got involved early with those 2 receptions and the touchdown on the first drive. Nice job. Didn't need to see anything from him. Smart by Harbaugh to pull him out, and then that's all good. No use of risking him for any injuries. Then not many wide receivers got more than 1 catch after that. Dante Demas had a reception for 11 yards, number 18, from Josh Johnson. I believe it was in the second quarter. You said Tylan Wallace had that touchdown as well. But before that touchdown, we have to talk about Mr. James Prochet, and it's just so unfortunate. It's just a Pandora's box every single time this man is getting an opportunity to make a play, and I just feel so bad for him. I know.
It's just like,
I know people want to say, "Hey, James Prochet, you're garbage. You're trash. Get out." Like, I really don't think he's that bad of a player. I
agree.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Once that happened, I said, "Get him out of here." I was just frustrated, but I cannot be like that to him. He's such a likable dude, and
he has it's just bad luck, man.
He's trying his best, and the luck that the poor luck he had when it comes to opportunities. I know, yes, he shouldn't have thrown that pass against Denver. But just the unfortunate drops and the holding penalties, it's just like, oh my gosh, can this guy break?
He cannot.
Wide open. He broke the press. The Commanders defenders sort of bumped into each other, wide open down the left sideline. Unfortunately, the D end it was either the D end or the D tackle got instant pressure on Josh Johnson, so he was unable to deal or deliver a perfect ball. It was a little bit underthrown, just a skosh. Prochet goes up for it, hits him in the hands, sort of. It bobbled between both the defender and his hands, tipped air, intercepted. Guy runs it all the way out to midfield and beyond. Oh, man. And it's just so many unlucky things. Like, just the fact that Josh Johnson had time tonight. On that particular play, he was bull rushed by the interior lineman. Had to get rid of it quick. Not the most accurate pass, and unfortunate that it couldn't be a perfect pass because I'm pretty sure James would have caught that for a touchdown, and he would have been really good. He did have one decent catch for 7 yards, but again, that's it. And unfortunately enough for James Prochet, Tylan Wallace scored another touchdown. Another week, another touchdown for Tylan Wallace. Unfortunately, that has to. I said this earlier to you. This has got to cement him as the wide receiver 5 or 6. I mean, he's just demonstrating that he can make these touchdown catches. And I know he's only getting like 1 catch, 2 catch per game, but he's getting the catches that matter.
Something out of them, yeah.
The passes he catch are for 6 points, which is better than any 6 receptions for 30 yards or 6 receptions for 80 yards and no touchdowns. He's got that 1 reception for a touchdown. That's what you want to see, and that's just how it's going to be. I think Tylan Wallace is going to be on the Ravens. Unfortunately, James Prochet, I think this is his exit, and good luck to him.
Yeah, I don't want to
stay. I'm sorry, real quick. I don't expect him to stay anytime after. If he makes it through next week, he probably will. I don't think they're going to cut him this week. I don't think he'll make it to Labor Day weekend. I think that unless he goes off with like 5 touchdowns in the next game, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah,
fortunately,
I don't want to be that guy, but honestly, to me, I think the Ravens wide receiver room is set.
Yep.
And I don't know if Prochet will have that spot. And I hate being that guy to say that because, I mean, like we said before, Prochet, he's a great guy. Like, he's a good teammate to have.
You were giving him a chance. You said this week
was. I was, but it's like it just if there's a black cat, like Prochet is the one walking by it, man. Like I just don't he can't catch a break. Like I don't understand why he cannot. Like he had like that play. I mean, yeah, you say it's over. Like it might have been a partial bad pass, but Prochet had that. I mean, he had it in his hands.
He had it.
Like,
he needs to catch. He's got to make that catch.
Yeah, and then you have Jartavius Martin with the perfect balance and like to stay in bounds to get that interception off of Josh Johnson. Like that's just, first of all, shout out to him. That was a crazy pick. The fact that he was able to keep both feet in and still like get out of there to run for 59 yards, that's insanity. But I don't, man, if there's a black cat, man, Prochet is just the one getting the bad luck. Again, he's a likable guy. I know he's a great teammate. Like we know his teammates love him, but it's just when it matters the most, he hasn't clutched up the way we want him to. And like we already have, like I feel like 4 spots are kind of already taken. I mean, you got Zay, you got Odell, you got Nelson Aguilar, like I mean, and then you got Bateman, Duvernay, like
right. Don't forget about Devin Duvernay.
Yeah, Duvernay's spot, like he's not even playing. Like he played in the game before he had a touchdown game, but like he didn't play. Like his spot's solidified, so Duvernay's not going anywhere. So, like, I don't know, man. Like I just don't think Prochet makes the team. If anybody gets that 6th spot, Wallace has probably been the one to earn it. Like in this preseason to make them the 53. Like I don't see Prochet making that. I mean, so we'll see. Obviously, we still have one more preseason game left, and then week 1 before roster cuts have to be made. But yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't, and it's sad to say that because I love Prochet. Like I love having him on the squad. I really thought that he was, like I said, a good teammate to have, great guy, but. At the end of the day, like it's hard to say that he's been impressive in this preseason or like in these past years or so because he hasn't been.
Nope, and we're just out of time. And we said before, it's just not a fit. He's just not a fit. It's just so much weird stuff happens whenever he gets a chance, and it's just he's buried now. He's buried under the crowded wide receiver room that we have. So I'm hoping that he finds a place with another squad and gets an opportunity there. But it's just we can't. It's just we're trying so hard to give him chances. We've tried so long, especially last year. I'm telling you, I said this last episode, but I'm gonna say it again. Last year was James Prose's chance to make or break, because we had a lot of injuries at wide receiver. Bateman went down early. Duvernay took up a huge role. So did Proche as well. Proche was, I believe, the third wide receiver at one point, but just not enough plays were made. And then that went out to drive us to upgrade big this offseason. And here's his last gasp, and it's just not working. That's 2 weeks in a row where James Proche has resulted in turnovers for the Ravens, and it's just last week was the fumble. This week it was last interception. So it's just, I'm sorry. What else? What more can we say about it? What more can we say?
Proche, I don't know if you're ever going to watch this. I don't know if you're ever going to – I don't know if you will. You probably won't. But, man, if you want to come out in preseason 3 and just blow the roof off the place or whatever you want to do, do it. Do whatever you got to do.
I really wanted a touchdown too. I really did. I was like, he's wide open. I said, he's wide open.
I was so
ball was underthrown a little. Oh.
I was so excited when I saw him, because he had a beautiful release to give, to break the press. He was there, and then he was just end zone. I was like, oh my God, Proche's moment has finally arrived. And then, unfortunate that happens. I want to see him win badly, bro. I know, it's been so much bad luck, and I just want to see him succeed, man. I want to see him succeed with us, but it just hasn't been that way. And I don't know what else. I don't know what else we can do to help that situation. I don't. It comes down to how much does he want it. I think that really is what it comes down to. How much does James Proche want it? And I mean, if he can show up in this last game or so and prove something, by all means, go ham, bro. But so far, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Nope. But other people got involved. Offense was humming for the most part until we got a little bit, conservative at the end when Monken was trying to run the clock out. We got another comment. The one thing I'll say about Pro, none of those mistakes have been with Lamar. You mean, are you talking about Proche's mistakes when Lamar's at quarterback?
Yeah,
if you wouldn't mind, just clarify that a little bit, just in case. I think I know what you're saying, but I'm not sure. But yeah, so everybody did their thing. Passing game had 185 yards total passing, and you said the running game had 125. So a nice balanced day. Yeah, so can't complain too much about the offense of how that's been looking. It was nice to see that, like you said, it was nice to see Anthony Brown and Josh Johnson step up from last year's subpar performances against Philadelphia. So yeah, it's good.
Okay.
He said, "Yep."
So if you had to,
right, yeah,
I
read you right.
If you had to give grades, offense and defense on an A to F scale, what are you giving offense? What are you giving defense for tonight's performance?
Tonight's performance, I'm leaning for offense to be I'm torn between a B plus and an A minus. Just because they got a little bit sloppy at the end, I'm going to say B plus. And I know it's preseason, but we're grading the performance tonight, so I'm going to say B plus. It got a little bit sloppy at the end of the game and a little bit predictable, which resulted in not a game-ending drive. So, yeah, it was still a very solid day, though. B plus for offense. And defense, I would say probably a D plus. Just solely on the performance, not against who we're playing, I would say D plus, just because there was a lot, very, very sloppy on both sides of the ball. Pass rush, very sloppy. Run D, very sloppy. Yeah, if you can't control the line of scrimmage on defense, it's going to be a hard, long day for you on trying to get stops.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think offense gets a B plus. They played well. end again what could have been better. I think, like you said, we were just playing to not lose at that point, so we were just, running. Defense, I'm going to take it a little bit a step higher. I'm going to give them a C minus. Only reason why they get a C minus for me is because we did get 2 turnovers. If we did not get any turnovers at all, I would be right there with you with a D plus. But the 2 turnovers kind of puts it a little bit over the hump for me because we didn't really get anything in the week prior. So other than that, I'll give the defense a C minus, and offense gets a B plus for me. I think it was a solid night all in all. Just still more room to improve on both fronts.
Yeah. Well, those turnovers, I mean, yeah, you could technically say the Ravens defense forced them, but I classified those more as Washington Commanders mistakes.
Hey,
like
man,
that fumble was ridiculous.
Hey, man, we take it.
John,
we get it. We take it as we
and
get
that interception by
Taylor
what was his
Hayes.
name again? 18. Yeah. No, Tay Hayes, not Dalen Hayes. Tay.
Tay Hayes, sorry.
Yeah, Tay, number 18 in the corner. Thrown right at him. John Bates wide open on the post route. I don't know what Brissett's
That was just a
doing
misthrow
right
by
there.
Brissett. That was a misthrow by Brissett because he ran a good route.
Yeah.
He ran a good route.
Oh, what's his name? Brissett was the Browns starting quarterback last year, and he played at least.
Yeah, Brissett was only in there for
Yeah.
He's only in there for 2 drives, and they got him up out of there.
Yeah, you can't miss that throw. So I'm glad the guy it was thrown right to him. We need to catch those type of things. I could make a Patrick Queen joke from early last year, but I'm not because
I know exactly what you're talking about too, which makes it even worse.
Bills game, yeah, we already know. But yeah, so catch the ones that are right to you. Capitalize on your opponent's mistakes, but that's why I'm staying at D plus because they weren't amazing plays by the Ravens. They were bad mistakes by the Commanders.
I agree. But hey,
anyway.
Listen, man, they get a little nod from me for still making the plays when it counts.
Yeah.
They get a little bit of a nod from me. So the C minus is my average for them as far as how they played tonight.
Real quick, kind of weird question: is my audio lagging when you're hearing me?
It's like you kind of lag in and out, but but I can still grasp what you're saying most of the time.
Because you're doing yours the same, which is weird. But okay.
Gotta love our streaming platforms.
We'll change it soon. Don't worry. We're gonna move up. But anyway, yeah, we should probably wrap this one up. This has been fun. First time doing an instant reaction breakdown after a Ravens game. First of many. We're excited to do it again in the regular season. More info on when those will be. Most likely they won't always be instant, like right after the game. But we'll keep you guys posted of when we do it. It would be no more than 1 day after. Does that sound right? Sound good? Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do like the instant reaction ones because you get our raw reactions and exactly how we're feeling just minutes after the game. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun. So if Dom, you don't have anything else before we close down shop?
Other than I think we played well, not well enough to win, unfortunately. Preseason streak, we was in a heartbreaker. It's kind of crazy how we're having heart attacks like in the preseason, but yeah, we're back at it again. Excited. Week 1 is right around the corner, so I know we're getting excited for that. But yeah, I think overall tonight was a good night. Very exciting night for football for a preseason game. I can tell you that much. So
yeah,
it's good to see.
Definitely. Oh, well, thank you guys. We had a couple guys in here. Thank you again for joining, even though it's pretty late on a Monday night. Well, technically it's Tuesday now because it's after midnight. But thanks for tuning in and hanging with us. For those of you on YouTube, if you enjoyed, please leave a like and a subscription, or leave a comment down below about how your team did in week 2 of preseason. Any questions you may have for us, feel free to leave those in there as well. So we will see you again on Sunday, and I believe the Ravens' last game is on Saturday against the Buccaneers on the road. So we'll see you on Sunday breaking that down. So anyway, thanks again for joining. This is Dom Gonz signing out. Have a good evening, everybody.